It's hump day.
Hump day!
It's hump day.
Hump day!
Kick it! Oh, wait. We're not the Beastie Boys, but we are Semantic Mastery. What's up, everybody? Today is the 14th of June, and this is episode 136, the episode where Bradley takes over a local library to do Hump Day Hangouts. So you're not going to see Bradley. I think he is having some camera issues, but he is here, and he's on the road, but he's still doing the Hump Day Hangouts. So we're going to do our thing and say hi real quick to everybody, and then we'll get rolling. So Bradley, real quick, you want to say hi?
Yeah, hey, everybody. I'm at a public library because I'm traveling today well, not really traveling. I'm just hanging out with my daughter. This is her last week of school, and she was off early. I had a lunch meeting earlier in the town that she lives in, so I just stayed here to hang out with her for the afternoon. So she's in the background kind of bad, but so I'm here for whatever reason. I'm on a Chromebook, and it says that the Hangouts couldn't get the camera to work. What? like go figure. Come on, Google.
Just when you think you have it nailed, you got a Chromebook and you're doing a Hangout. But
that's right, and it says it still didn't work.
All right. Oh, hey, Roman, how's it going, man?
Pretty good. How are you doing?
Not bad. It's nice. It cooled down. It was in the 90s here, and now it's in the 70s, about 80. So I'm loving life.
Oh yeah, it's about the same here.
Nice, nice. All right, Marco. Speaking of the weather, how you doing, man?
What's up, man? It's nice and warm. You know, rainy season. Rains in the afternoon. We can't beat the weather, dude. It's nice and warm in the morning, sunny. I wouldn't live anywhere else in the world. I'm where I want to be.
All right, I'm putting Costa Rica on the to-visit list. I think we got to go down there, you guys.
I'm down.
Awesome. Hey, Hernan, how's it a little bit further south? How's it going?
Oh, yeah. Well, you guys are having fun and, you know, chilling in the sun and fucking freezing down here. So good, man, good. Everything is good. I'm excited to be here. So
cool deal.
Man, come to Spain.
Ooh.
Yeah, that would be a good idea.
Is that where you are right now, Chris?
Not yet, no.
Nah,
In 2 weeks, probably.
Nice.
Okay.
Right. Awesome. Well, all right, that's it for introductions real quick, but we do have a few announcements we want to get through real quick, and we got some really exciting stuff to talk about today. So I'm going to run through my announcements here real quick. And as always, if you're new to Semantic Mastery, first of all, thank you very much for joining us on the Hump Day Hangouts. Much appreciated, and we're really glad you're here. If you haven't yet, please check out the Syndication Academy. I'll put the link in here in just a second. And also, if you haven't created your free account over at Serpspace, where you can get done-for-you services, free markup tools, all sorts of cool stuff, head over to serpspace.com and create your free account. And one last thing, you might have seen that there was a webinar for the battle plan, the SEO blueprint. All right, and so that was for people who might not have heard of it yet. But what we're going to be doing next week is it's not just, oh, you know, we released this and that's it. We're actually going to be having an update webinar for people who bought this, you know, one-time product. And so we're going to be offering that just to people who are who bought the battle plan. So if you want to be a part of that, I'll drop the link along with an awesome coupon code. By all means, please take advantage of that before the webinar so you can join next week and see all of that. Yeah, and anybody got any notes on that stuff?
No, I just wanted to mention, you know, we're doing the webinar as kind of like a walkthrough of the actual battle plan process and the timeline, you know, kind of like the timing of each service and, you know, step that we take. And we're doing that intentionally so that we can expand upon what's in the PDF, like kind of like step by step, and then also fill in some additional gaps or whatever with some of the questions that have come in. And lastly, once the webinar, plus we're going to answer some Q&A for anybody that has questions, but then we're going to, afterwards, we'll have everything time-stamped in the webinar, so we're probably going to go back and edit the PDF to actually add the timestamp so that in the PDF you can click on the link. It will take you straight to that section of the webinar, or you know, basically expand upon that section. So it's going to be a much more valuable PDF after the webinar.
Definitely, yeah. And we did listen to everybody. We got some feedback, you know, and people are saying, you know, this is great. It's helping us. I can see how to use it, but I'd like some help on timing, things like that. So, right. You know, we definitely want to update and help you make it as easy as possible. We mean it when we say it's a blueprint. You can just follow. So, cool. All right. Well, that's it. What else? Do you guys have anything?
No, I'm good. If you guys want also to take advantage while taking advantage of that coupon, if you also want to take advantage of the $1 trial for Syndication Academy that's also on the sales page, I would strongly recommend, because you will have access to Syndication Academy. It's only $1, and you can test it out. You can just drive it, and so go ahead and give it a shot. So.
Okay, can we get into questions? We got a bunch.
Yep, let's do it.
Let's do this.
Let's do it. Edward Gelb, he's up first. What's up, Ed? He says, can you tell me the best way to have a presence in another location? Do I set up a virtual office via a post office address? In this example, I would like to have a client presence in Charleston, South Carolina, and the client is in Hilton Head. Thank you. That Ed is talking about. Do it. And, it's funny because we hear saying that the USPS post office box with the street address option doesn't work, but yet I do it all the time. I just did another one again last week for another business that I'm working on, but I did several of them about 3 weeks ago as well. So it still works, guys. What I always mention is, the reason why I say to use the USPS post office boxes is they're the cheapest. And they tend to work the best out of all the ones that I've tested. And I've tried UPS, the UPS stores, and those don't work as well. They're also a hell of a lot more expensive. So the trick is to what I recommend if you're going to be using the post office boxes. Number one is you got to use the street address option. It's a PDF. I mean, you can find it online. I've got a link for it, but I'm on my Chromebook, so it's going to be difficult for me to grab. But you can search for it. Just go to Google and search for United States Postal Service or USPS PO Box street address option or something like that. Look through the first few links. You'll find it. It's a PDF. You can download it, take it to your local PO box or post office. When you go to run a PO box and you submit the form along with the payment and blah, 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 and that's it. You can now use the street address of the actual post office, and then you get a box number. I do it because it works. The only problem occurs is if you try to register multiple PO boxes underneath the same profile. That can flag the account. And then they can, I've heard of people having their accounts terminated because of that. I haven't experienced that. I have had a single map listing one time that was filtered out, and the message or warning said something about spam. But that was it. I only had that happen one time. And what I did was I just went and opened up created another Google profile, opened up a Google My Business account, registered the same damn address, but it was underneath a different profile, and it worked just fine. So I just want you to know that that's really the way to get around it, is if you're going to be using PO boxes, use a different Google profile, and then just add the main profile or the business, whoever whatever, or yourself as a manager. You just want to add yourself as a page manager so that you can still access that location from the company's Google My Business dashboard, but the actual the owner, so to speak, in air quotes, is underneath a different Google profile. Does that make sense? But guys, it still works absolutely. Like I said, just split it up. And we always recommend trying to mitigate risk as much as possible. And so that's why we use just different Google accounts for everything. All right, Amco site says, what is the most effective and efficient way to get Google Knowledge Panel for an ecom site? So I'm assuming you're talking about the knowledge graph that shows up. I don't know because I don't do any ecom stuff. Does anybody here have any insight on that?
The most efficient way to get Google Knowledge Panel for our ecom site. Yeah, I mean, there's a whole bunch of markup data that you can use, Amco, that is strictly for ecom. Right?
Yeah.
So you have reviews, you have pricing, you have comments. So there's a whole bunch of data that you can feed into Google to get into the Google Knowledge Panel. Have in mind, though, that when you're doing ecom, unless you're doing like private labeling or that you have your own invention, etc., you will be competing with the brands that actually occupy your space, right? So let's say that I'm selling some sort of I don't know, some sort of shoes. I can feed Google with anything that has to do with markup data, with schema, JSON-LD, whatever you want to do with those shoes. But you need to have in mind that those shoes, if I'm selling Nike shoes, Nike already took, maybe they already took that entity, right? Because they are feeding the original shoe into Google's algorithm. That doesn't mean that you cannot get into the knowledge graph. That only means that you need to, you will be competing on the knowledge graph with the bigger brands as well, right? But there's a whole world of data markup that you can use on your own website. And there are plugins as well that you can use that will help you indexing better and also getting, the star snippet and a bunch of other things that will increase your CTR in the search engines. I hope that helps.
I just dropped the link.
Yes,
I'm sorry, go ahead. No, go ahead.
He can get a knowledge panel for the brand.
Yeah.
But if the brand is already taken up, I mean, so if someone already has the brand name, he can't take it. I mean, someone already has the brand.
Yeah, that's right.
I mean, if you go and look, Semantic Mastery, right? That's our knowledge panel. If you look up Semantic Mastery, what you see is our knowledge panel. It's information. It's our map, right? It's our hours. Well, you do that by submitting to Google. And that's how you get the knowledge panel. I mean, the other information that you do from the site, same as whatever, that will add to it. But that will add, sometimes it appears and sometimes it doesn't. We'll get what do you call social media icons, for example. We get Google. You get Google reviews. You get a link to the website. You get directions. Well, that's all from the map. It's not as if whatever schema you add to it is going to magically make the knowledge panel appear. No. Go and didn't we do a whole thing on entity? Can't we give them? Do we have that available publicly?
For what?
The entity webinar, the schema, and all that.
I think that's. Yeah, go ahead.
No, I was just saying. You guys keep going. I'll look it up and see where that's at.
Okay.
Yeah, please, because this isn't something whether it's it doesn't really make a difference whether it's e-commerce or what the niche is. What matters is what the entity is. That's what the knowledge panel is for. Is to show the entity, not necessarily whether it's e-com. I mean, you can get that in there.
I don't think I've ever seen a knowledge panel for a product. I've seen it for brands, like what you're saying.
It's brand, yeah.
So, well, there you go. And also, like I said, I mentioned that rich snippet or that Built Visible article. That's a fantastic blog, by the way, Built Visible, for a lot of technical SEO stuff, guys. If you check that out for sure. And there's a lot of rich snippet stuff in there. That again, I don't know. Be able to tell like how that affects the knowledge graph so much, other than like what Marco said with like same as and things like that can pull social icons into that knowledge graph, but or knowledge panel, whatever. But there's a lot of different types of rich snippet markup.
And it's a good thing that you mentioned rich snippets also, because we're having Ryan Rodden in the mastermind. Isn't he coming? Yep. So if you guys aren't in the mastermind and you're wondering about all this stuff, this is a really good time to start the process of getting in there so you can be there for this mastermind. Because I mean, the guy is I don't know what to call him as far as schema is concerned.
Schema pro.
He's more than that, because he knows more than I thought was possible to know about schema.
Yeah, we're having him on a mastermind tomorrow, and there will be 2 parts to that webinar. A version that will be public facing that we will probably be mailing out to everybody so that they can see, learn from some of the stuff. But then there's going to be obviously some very juicy mastermind stuff that we have to keep in the mastermind. So we're going to have, you guys will get some of it. There's no doubt, because he's got a lot of knowledge to share. And so we'll be sharing that with you once it's done. All right, we can move on to the next one. How to use rel canonical in Google site so that my money site ranks above Google site in context to Virginia SEO keyword. Okay, so the way you would have to do the canonical would be if you assigned the domain. You would have to assign a domain to that, or map a domain to that site. And then Google Sites will automatically apply a rel equals canonical tag to the Google site itself. Both sites will still be visible. Like you can visit both the custom domain and the Google Sites domain, but the Google Sites domain will have added once you map a domain to the Google site, it will point to your mapped domain. As far as you can't add a canonical to a Google site that I'm aware of in the header to just point to another domain. You have to map it, and Google will take care of the canonical itself. Now, Marco, correct me if I'm wrong.
That's information that's privileged. I have a non-disclosure agreement with myself that I will not reveal that kind of stuff.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, we can take a look. Let's just do that real quick.
You can force it. You can force it. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. We'll take a look at this. Still number one. I'll be damned. Brad, look, above maps, both the Google sites and the WordPress.com site for Virginia SEO. Can you believe that? Above maps, guys? That's insane. That's just insane. That damn site, since I created it in May of 2015, it's still ranking. That's unbelievable. Anyways, let's take a look at view page source. Now,
Well,
see,
the
this one
leverage
doesn't.
of Google properties.
Yeah, but see, this one doesn't have. I can do a Control F, but I don't. We don't have. I don't have a custom domain map to this one, so it's not going to show. That's right, because I don't have a custom domain map to this site. So, anyways, just like I was mentioning, if you have a custom domain and you map it to the Google site, the Google site will automatically put a rel equals canonical tag in the header of the site, which will point to your domain. That's the only way I know how to do it. You can't just go in and arbitrarily assign one because it's not your code. You know what I mean? It's not like it's if you can add like to a self-hosted WordPress site a canonical tag anywhere, right? But you can't do it to a Google site that I'm aware of. Hopefully that's helpful.
Yeah,
but yeah, if you use a custom domain, theoretically, and I haven't really tested. Well, actually, yeah, I have tested this. I've tested this with maps, not necessarily for organic. But I've mapped my own custom subdomains to like for lead gen sites. So my own custom subdomains to a Google site, and wherever the Google site ranked, it has to be built on the Google site platform is what I'm saying. But then my domain replaces where the Google site ranks after the domain has been mapped. So that's all I'm saying. You still have to use Google Sites Builder, but you can map your own custom domain. Okay. Anyways, what were you going to say, Chris?
I just dropped the link on how to do it. It's okay. I just dropped it at the top. If anyone wants to go try it, they can play with it. It's all in Google. Google tells you how to do it.
A pain in the ass to set up the mapping. It's kind of geeky with the DNS records and all that, but you can do it. So, okay, Paul's up. What's up, Paul? He says, Bradley, have you noticed the changes Google made concerning phrase and exact match in AdWords, or how they're showing ads for close variants or LSI keywords despite the match type exact, and how are you or would you handle this thing? Yeah, no, I've noticed that too. Like, for example, it's gotten a lot better as far as it used to be with exact. They wouldn't use close variants. They wouldn't keyword with close variants. It would have to be the exact. But now I've noticed the same thing. Is it with like, so for example, campaigns that I do a lot of AdWords stuff for is ketogenic diet. And so ketogenic diet, keto diet, and ketosis diet. Those are all basically synonyms. And so even though I have exact match set up for my alpha campaigns, Paul, you understand what I'm talking about, but when you're dealing with like alpha beta campaigns, so my alpha campaigns, which are all exact match keywords, I always create a single keyword ad group, SCAG, right? Single keyword ad group for my alpha campaigns. And so I'll put the exact match in there. So for example, keto diet. But Google is now showing, and they didn't do this even a few months ago, but they'll now show for keto diet, they'll also show my ad for ketogenic diet and ketosis diet. And it's okay with me because those are close variants that are no doubt, those are all one and the same. It's just a different, variations of that same keyword. So that's okay with me. As long as I haven't been burned by it, I'm going to say I'm okay with it. I know in the past they would suck. So the difference would be like if you did broad match and modified broad match. Broad match would show thought was synonymous with the original keyword. It would swap it out and still give you an impression, and it sucked. Broad match was like the most awful way to advertise on Google, in my opinion. But modified broad match meant that it was supposed to be using those exact same words that you added the modifier to. However, I noticed that they would swap out with close variants, and this was, like I said, last year sometime, and I would notice that sometimes those variants weren't very good, so you'd have to go in and add those as negative keywords. But I've noticed that it has gotten better, and that's probably because their algorithm continues to get better as well, like understanding of language. part rank brain, right? But that, again, that said, I'm okay with it because I haven't been burned yet. If you notice that you are getting close variants showing impressions for exact match keywords that you don't want, just go in and add that as a negative keyword. So, and the only way you'll ever be able to determine that, guys, is if you check your search queries report and take a look at which keywords generated a click. And then if you see close variants in there, it'll show you in a column match type. And if it says close variant, you can just double check and just, you should be checking your accounts about once a week anyways, logging into AdWords and checking it about once a week. And if it says close variant, just double check, make sure that the word is a suitable replacement. If it's not, then you want to just go add that to the negative keyword list so that it won't show the next time. Trial and error, guys. You have to dial campaigns in, Paul, and I know you know that. So Eric Suppy says, are the strategies you teach, and more importantly, in my case, the strategy methods offered in Serpspace, such syndication networks and other programs offered as part of Organic SEO, usable with Amazon products? I have an Amazon product that I want to rank on page 1 in a very competitive niche and hope that using SEO through social signal, syndication, link building, etc., can build brand awareness and drive potential target buyers to listing. Please advise. Yeah, I mean, again, I don't do any e-commerce or Amazon stuff, guys, so I have limited experience with specifically like Amazon product stuff. However, SEO is SEO. In Google, you still can do the same sort of things. If you're trying to rank in Amazon, it's a different algorithm. It's a different thing. But as you mentioned, you're trying to rank in organic SEO. So I would recommend it. Yeah, obviously any kind of traditional SEO stuff that you can do is going to help. Plus, as we have been continuing to pound this drum for the last several months, and we're seeing more and more of it, engagement, guys, is becoming the primary factor for ranking. We're seeing more and more evidence of that almost daily. Driving traffic, brand awareness, as you mentioned, that kind of stuff is going to certainly help. Opinion on the rest of you guys.
Yeah, I agree with you. I agree with you, Bradley. The reality is that there are two, and I think I mentioned this before on a Hump Day Hangout. Like, Amazon can behave like a parasite. So, and a really powerful parasite, by the way. So you can try and apply all of the strategies that we have, talked about on ranking parasites to Amazon products. So that would be number one. That's how I would approach ranking an Amazon product. But also have in mind that Amazon is the number 3 search engine in the world. So you also want to rank within Amazon, right? So you will apply both Amazon and Google SEO, right? For both Amazon and Google to the listing. So that would be my intake on it. I would do the exact same thing that I would do with any other parasite, whether it is, a syndication network from a subdomain, or maybe ordering or buying a new domain and pointing backlinks to it, etc., etc. That would be my intake on it, because I see Amazon as a parasite, as well as any other parasite that I'm trying to rank, a YouTube video or a Google site. So,
yep. Anybody else?
No, I can't say more than that. That was perfect.
Hernan is the winner today. Jenny, I hope I'm saying that correctly. Thanks for being here for us 136 times, gentlemen. Appreciate you and the fact that you put out exceptional quality products. I'm a testimony. If you follow what you teach, you will make money, period. Thank you. That is a +1 for sure. Everybody go +1 that comment. Okay, so his question comes up. My client has an exact match domain of the city in it. They now want to go statewide with their services and purchase a generic niche domain, and they have purchased a generic niche domain. What is the best way for me to help that domain? Is it better to clone the site and have all the content, including articles, duplicated on the new site and do a 301 redirect from the old site to new, or just rewrite all the content for the new site and keep them both? That's a good question. Honest, if you could go either way there. There's a benefit, though, of keeping the existing one if you're going to write new content on a new domain, because if the other one's already ranking, that's an asset that's producing results. Why bother? Why mess with that? A new domain. And you're going to go statewide, because then you can restructure the new site based upon new goals, right? Whatever the scope of the project. If you're going to be doing a statewide site, chances are you're going to have a more complex siloed site, that kind of stuff. I don't know, because I don't know the specifics. I'm just saying, or if you're already planning on building a new site anyways on the new domain, then my opinion personally would probably be to leave the existing one if it's already generating traffic or results, new one from scratch. But again, if it's for a client and the client is okay with that, then that's what I would do. But sometimes clients say, oh no, I only want one website. So they're going to want, and if that was the case, then yeah, obviously just cloning the site and then 301 redirecting from the old to the new for those specific pages would be beneficial. And then obviously you'd be building out the rest of the new site as needed. But what do you guys think? What would your suggestions be?
I think it would be a good idea to leave the existing one and do a new one. I mean, he mentions that the city name's in it, so I'd imagine there may be GMBs involved.
Yeah.
So in that case, that's an opportunity for 2 listings instead of 1.
That's correct.
With the new site. So in that case, it probably would be a good idea, especially since it is an exact match, just to leave it there. I mean, you could get benefit from it, but like you said, the site structure itself is going to change dramatically from a 1 city site to something that's hitting a state. So,
yeah. I mean, I tend to not try to mess with assets that are producing results. Obviously, if I can help it, I'd rather just start with another asset and build upon that. If that's the case, there's no reason. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Okay, cool. Next is Alexander. He's been really active on Hump Day Hangouts the last several months. So thanks, Alexander. We always appreciate your questions. He said, let's remove the spot from Benner. Okay. What would Semantic Mastery do? Question, I know my sets, that's my plan for 2017 and on, but on theory is easier than in practice. I have sales keynote speaker that wants his videos right. By the way, guys, I'm not saying don't do client work. I'm just saying because I think it's critical, especially as a new marketing consultant or as a new business owner, it's important to have client income because it's steady and it's money now, but you should also be working on building your own assets is all I'm saying. I mean, that's it. It's not, I personally don't like working for clients that much because it's too much like having a boss, but there is certainly benefit in working for clients. And some people, really enjoy that stuff. And in fact, we're starting another agency, so we're going to have clients anyway. So, there's definitely money there, guys. There's no reason not to pursue that opportunity. Okay. We just say, try to own as much as you possibly can. So I know that I should add his videos on some of my channels, Rank and Rant, but how should steps to it? Build generic channel with a generic sales speaker brand, or maybe a channel about speakers, optimize channel, play a focus play. So on one of his keywords, optimize playlist in its videos, plus more LSI keywords to help it rank, optimize all the IFTTT links, tricks for Semantic Mastery. So my concern is that if I rank this case in generic videos, must be his own videos. That I can't rank in this case generic videos, must be his own videos. So should I build a big generic channel to rank another speakers or just a sales speaker channel? Honestly, that's too much work for one client. I mean, here's the thing, Alexander. If it depends. If you have build him for all of that. If you building out a channel and syndication networks and all that themed specifically for his very obscure niche, specific niche, then that's that you worked into your proposal that he's going to be covering. Well, I like using my own assets for this type of work, specific or particularly syndication networks and SEO stuff, is because I can build a vast video broadcasting network, syndication network, right? With multiple tiers, multiple networks. Just quick aside real quick. I was going through my old PBNs that I used to have a PBN of close to 1,000 domains. And I've over the years, a lot of them just expire because I don't use them very much anymore at all. And so I was going through for our new traffic agent or a new marketing agency that we're working on. I was looking for tier syndication networks that weren't being used, that were sitting dormant because they were expired from PBNs or they were networks that were attached to PBN domains that have since expired. So I went through and I found 92 sitting syndication networks that were just sitting dormant, and I'm attaching all 92 to the channel. I've got a VA on it full time right now, and she's updating all the networks and attaching it to one channel. So I'm going to have a 92 network YouTube channel. So anyways, yeah, I know it's going to be super powerful. There's going to be like different trigger points and all that stuff. Like we're working all that out now, but it's going to be really, really cool. So I'm saying all that is because if you're going to go out and build all these particular project, hopefully you're building the client for it. You should be building this for yourself because this is an asset that you can continue to use over and over and over again. The problem arises for this particular model that it arises when you're a general marketing consultant and you will accept any business because now you have built a network that isn't particularly themed. It will still work. It will still work better than not having a network at all. But the network's powerful because of the theming. And so that's why I continually hammer to you guys to niche down, find a specific industry, stick with it. Like make that your only or your number one provide services for, because then you can build this big, vast network, make it super powerful. It's 100% themed, and you can go target client after or business after business in just different cities. And you'll already have an asset that will rank those videos just like that, like clockwork, because it's specifically, and it's and you're doing the same stuff over and over again. So every new client or video that you add to it is going to reinforce that theme. And so in your particular case, Alexander, I would want to build a generic like sales speaker thing unless you were going to be targeting sales speakers. And guys, that might be a great niche to go after because it's highly specialized and there's probably not a lot of people targeting them. I don't know that. It's just an assumption. And my point, Alexander, and then I'd like to get some opinions from the others, is that if you're going to do all of that, that either you make that a focus of your business so that you can target other people with it before building this asset. Basically, on a simpler level, if you're not getting compensated for all of that, I would just build out a particular a playlist on a channel, do some things with the playlist in order to rank for that. Instead of building all these networks and all this other stuff that just seems like too much for this one particular business, I would try to find some alternative methods, be able to still produce results without having to go through all that expense and setup. That's a lot of work. But what do you guys think? What would you say?
Sorry, I was muted.
No problem.
I was talking to the close mic. Yeah, you can go ahead, Roman, if you want.
Yeah, I would definitely agree in this sense. Like you want to own your own assets. So that is kind of like that first idea that you want to have in your head for whatever strategy that you're coming up with, in this scenario. The client's probably going to end up with a branded IFTTT ring, but then you can assemble a bunch of other ones for syndication purposes, but the client shouldn't own those ones. That should be yours. Totally. That way you still have the power, you still have the control. So I really don't have too much more than that for this particular case.
That's good, Roman. So I totally agree with what you just said. Hernan?
Yeah, no, I agree. I agree with what you guys are saying. We're always saying, like, usually I like to think that clients pay for the party, right? Like clients will pay for your own assets. Like you want to get clients when you're starting out, or even if you don't have to manage them, right? But you want to get clients because they will pay for the party. They will pay for your own networks being developed, right? We all started Semantic Mastery. We were all doing some sort of client work, or we were all doing our own stuff, and we'll still do. And that's one of the value that we bring to the table with Semantic Mastery. But yeah, I definitely agree that you should be owning your own properties. I think that comes in time too. I think that initially you want to work for a client, you want to work with a client, and invest part of the client profits into building your own assets,
Amen.
And then you can always use 301s, you can always use switch boxes, you can always mirror the client website, whatever you want to do. But the main point is that you progress to holding your own assets.
I totally agree. And just the last part of that question, or Alexander, I see where you say, should I build a big generic channel to rank other speakers from other knowledge areas, or just a sales speaker channel? No, the first I would suggest. So yes, if you're, and I see the very last thing you say, I would prefer to have many playlists and rank for other speakers to reuse the IFTTT rings attached. So yeah, you're already on the right track. That's what I would recommend doing. Again, that might be a very profitable niche. I know nothing about that niche other than the fact that those people usually have money and they're always looking for exposure. And so my point is that might be a really good niche. And the fact that it's highly specialized means there's probably not a whole lot of people targeting them, more opportunity for you. So that's absolutely what I would do. I mean, guys, like when I built for the video production company that I do a lot of work for. So, you know, one of the things is they obviously sell video production services to any type of business. So it was difficult when fortunately I had a bunch of video syndication networks and PBNs that I kind of repurposed from PBNs to more just video syndication networks. And so I was able to group things together to where I had 5 large video syndication networks. One that was for contractors like home services. One was for Virginia-based businesses. One was for health. One was for real estate and like luxury stuff. And my point is I had these various networks so that I could plug different types of businesses into a network that was themed relatively close enough to where it would still work. And I could silo things out using playlists and that kind of stuff. So very, very powerful. But I had this great big network that I had able to build. If you're just starting out, stick with one specific niche, because then you only have to build one network, guys, and you don't need all that additional capital investment and time, right? If you got to build 5 different types of networks, that's a huge undertaking. Start with one and just be the expert in that particular industry. Scale so much faster. All right, James is up. He says, and we got a ton of questions. We haven't even like touched them. We got to roll through some of these very quickly. After poking with LiveRank Sniper and finding which keywords are ranked, can you delete those streams and come back out and upload using Rocket Video Ranker using the keywords and titles that ranked with LRS and get the same rankings? Theoretically, yes, James. That's not always the case because of Google's random ranking factor. It is such, and I've seen it. It's weird. It's not. For the most part, yeah, probably about 80 to 90% of the keywords that you identified as rankable or ranking on page 1 or 2, whatever, with LiveRank Sniper, if you delete all those and then you use something like Rocket Video Ranker or anything else and target those keywords, about 80 to 90% of them should, the exact, relatively close, you know, give or take 1 or 2 positions as the original LiveRank Snipers or the poke test did. However, again, Google's random ranking factor, it's weird, but I've taken a list of keywords that I identified as easy rankings with test channels that had they were orphaned channels, and then using money channels with syndication networks and had some of the keywords just not rank. So, which is weird because they go through syndication networks, there's authority, they're themed, blah, you know, there's age and it's an aged channel, all that kind of stuff. So it just goes to prove once again that it's an algorithm, guys. There's always anomalies, mathematical, algorithmic anomalies where sometimes you just can't explain. But again, for the most part, James, that is correct. You can poke with a tool, identify keywords, and then target them with a different tool for that. And you're going to get the vast majority of them should rank to what the original test was. Some will rank better, some will rank worse, some will rank it all, you know what I mean? So, okay, or do the rankings only work because of the use of the live streaming element? I don't know 100% because usually it doesn't, to me, it doesn't matter so much as if I'm using the LiveRank Sniper as a poking tool, which is scheduled with live streams, yes, there's some more like inherent more rankability, so to speak. Better because they're scheduled with live events as opposed to just like a regular standard YouTube upload. But again, those are usually test channels that have nothing. And so usually after I've identified those keywords, I'm going to target those keywords using a more established channel. So that usually will compensate for the difference between being a live stream and an upload. Okay. Mohammed says, hey guys, I'm just getting into simple silo structures and wanted to use one of my client's sites. The problem is because I hadn't known about silos previously, his site's permalinks are just domain.com post title. That's fine, Mohammed. Makes no difference. You can still do it. It's called a virtual silo. Everything is just done with internal linking structure. In fact, you can still silo, like you can still silo structure, and when you're setting up your categories and pages and all that stuff, you can still use a complex silo structure with just the post name as your permalink structure. It doesn't make any difference. It's all about the internal linking and the like how you build the site. And if you're doing complex silo structure, you said simple, so let's not even talk about that. So we'll stick with simple silo structure. So you'd have a page and a category, right? So this slug is going to be the same for both of those. That doesn't change. But again, the permalink structure doesn't affect that whatsoever. You would create a page. So let's say it was plumbing services. I'm just using that as an example. Plumbing services is the top level page. So you create a category, plumbing services. Then you would do a 301 redirect, is the way I do it, from the category page to the actual page itself. And then you can still stack posts underneath that category, right? You should select that category for every supporting article, so blog post. The only difference is in the URL, you won't see it. In the address bar, you won't see domain.com/plumbing-services/post title. You won't see that. You'll just see /post title. But it's still stacked correctly. It's still built within the correct silo. And then everything else is done through the internal links from the contextual links from the content of the pages and or posts themselves and where you point that to. So again, it's the physical silo structure. I like using the physical silo structure only because I like seeing it. It's very clean. I like seeing that in the actual URL, but we've tested it and I've seen basically the exact same results using a virtual silo. He says, is it worth it to change the link structure at this point? No, because that's going to create a nightmare for you, Mohammed. WordPress is supposed to, when you change the permalink structure, it's supposed to set up all the redirects on its own. But if anybody's ever done that, they've probably experienced what I have. Complete nightmare. So do not mess with that. Just leave it the way it is. It's fine. You can still accomplish the same thing. Let's see. He had about 10 posts up, T1 brand syndication network. Will there be any major ramifications, or should I just skip the silos for him? No. Don't you? Again, you don't have to skip the silos. Just don't worry about it being in the URL. Still set it up exactly as taught. Silo structure video that if you haven't seen it yet, go search our channel, Semantic Mastery, for simple silo structure. You'll see it, and just don't need to have it in the permalink. Okay. Should I always use the naked URLs to link to my top pages? I have a T1 network, full post showing RSS. Yeah, either use naked URLs or, well, if it's only a tier 1 network, you can use keywords. Tier 1 network, you can use keywords. If you're doing multiple tiered networks, then I recommend you sticking with naked and or brand terms. And or brand terms. Brian says, for your money sites, do you follow your branded social media links? I typically follow all outbound links, Brian. That's me. I know Hernan does things differently, but I typically always follow outbound links. If so, do you do it through your buddy site or only on the blog? Throughout the site or only on the blog? I typically do it throughout the entire site. And it's just any outbound link. I always follow on my money sites. But Hernan, how do you do it?
Yeah, I do the exact opposite.
Exact
but
opposite.
Yeah, I mean, test it out, Brian. Test it out. Yeah. I understand the logic behind what Bradley's doing because he wants to keep the juice within the website. Now, my logic is do not stop the bot from crawling authority websites like Facebook, Google, or your own authority web links, outbound links that you will insert on your own articles, right? Yeah. But in any case, it seems to work one way or the other as long as you're linking to authority websites. So yeah, I would say just test it out and see what works for you, brother.
Yep, totally agree. Okay, Columbus says, is there ever a time that you need permission to include a video in a playlist on your channel? Incident where 2 different videos appeared in YouTube searches coming from my channel. This was a new channel. Each showed a gray placeholder thumbnail. I had neither uploaded nor even included the first one in the playlist. The other video I had certainly not uploaded, but I had included it in the playlist. Then after a few days of watching to see what would happen, one of them showed as removed for copyright infringement. That shouldn't have anything to do with you, Columbia, if it wasn't your video. Like what I'm saying is if you take somebody else's video and put it in your playlist, there is no copyright infringement because you're not downloading and uploading their video. You're adding their video from their channel to one of your playlists. YouTube gives us that ability to do so. so that we can create like themed playlists, and really, I don't think playlists were set up by YouTube to be an SEO tool. We just figured out how to hack it to make it an SEO tool. But what I mean, playlists are basically containers, and that's all it is. It's just a container. So you could create containers with, and in containers with how to do SEO videos. You know what I mean? And so my point is that you can put anybody's videos in your own playlist. It makes no difference whatsoever. The problem occurs with copyright stuff when you download other people's content and then upload it. And I know we've done some real spammy stuff where we do that, and that can cause a problem. But just including somebody else's video in your playlist was not going to cause a problem. If that particular video got removed for copyright infringement, it wasn't from something you did. It was from something that channel owner did. Okay, so as a music publisher, I learned years ago to take every aspect of copyrights very seriously. Yeah, yeah. When you have to pay some fines for copyright infringement, it sucks. So I know the feeling. I moved the one video from the playlist, but could not delete the other because I had never uploaded or included it in a playlist to begin with. Again, if it wasn't on your channel, there's nothing you can do about that. It's not your concern, Columbia. Hopefully that makes sense. That you only have to be concerned with videos that you have uploaded to your channels. Okay. Let's see. Let's choose the channel from there. When I clicked the channel name, it went to our channel page, but the video is never. I don't know what happened there. That's honestly sounds like just a glitch, something. YouTube. I've never seen. That's something that looks. I would probably contact Google or YouTube help forms if they have it, and see what happened. Anybody have any insight on that?
Not on my end.
Yeah, I'm seeing. Yeah, so how could this happen? Is anything to be concerned about? I wouldn't worry about it because it seems to me like that, like there's something funky going on, but it and I'm going to say shouldn't be because I don't know for sure without all more specifics, Columbia, but it sounds like that was just a funky thing that happened, and you should be okay. Again, as long as you're not downloading and uploading other people's content and then uploading it to your channel, it makes no difference. If they are doing some sketchy copyright infringement crap and you're just putting their video into your playlist, it shouldn't affect your playlist whatsoever. Disciplinary action would be taken against the channel owner, not you. Almost monkey. Sorry. FCS Networker or RankWyz. RankWyz now, only because FCS Networker, we've gotten away from using that. I don't use RankWyz, but I know like the team builder, our network, or excuse me, link builders use like Web 2.0 and Ranker X. And any one of you guys do a lot of spam work anymore?
Not so much myself.
I mean,
No, I'd
spam
have to
tools.
check it out. Yeah, I mean, I was using FCS Networker, and I can't comment on it. So if somebody else would chime in, I know I was pretty impressed after Pavel came on and talked to us. So that I would check that out. But I can't say for sure.
Yeah. With that said, I think that our team uses them all, like RankWyz, FCS Networker, Turbo Web 2.0, like the one tool will give you abilities and capabilities that the other can't. You know what I mean? So you need to have that in mind. And I think that having them, when you have to choose, I personally choose FCS Networker over RankWyz. But that's a personal opinion, right? But if you don't have to choose, don't do it. Just use them all.
Yeah, this Amco says RankWyz any day. So it's funny when FCS told us to go buy more licenses. They said go to RankWyz. We don't want to sell you any more licenses. You're clogging up our servers. I'm not kidding, guys. Wow. We went to go buy another. I'm not kidding. This is what 2 or 3 years ago now. We went to go buy another license, and they literally denied us and said, "We suggest you go try RankWyz." And it was because we kept buying up all these licenses because we were running it so heavily. It's funny. And that's when I said, okay, I'm done with FCS. When they point you to your competitor, their competitor, it's time to be done with them. So, anyways, Peter says, is Google stacking an effective strategy? Local marketing, I've heard said that it was, while others claim the rewards are not justified for the investment of time or needed to create the project. Create the process. I'm assuming you mean drive stacks. It depends. How much money can you make? I mean, will Google stacking help you to rank local videos? Yeah, we've done it. time and time again. Marco's the king of that stuff. And if there's, hey, look, depends on how much money you can generate from that video being ranked. Is it worth it? You tell me. Like, I don't know the specifics, Peter, of your, if you think that ranking a video for whatever keyword is you're trying to rank would generate revenue, then would it be worth spending $200 on or $300 or whatever on a drive stack or doing it yourself? No brainer. So.
Yeah, I mean, it depends. If you can generate one lead and it will pay you back $300, right?
Yep.
There are some niches that will pay you up to, I don't know, a couple $1,000 for a lead. So in those cases, I would say, yeah, definitely the ROI, it's brutal.
I think we got time to get through two more, Greg's and Jay's, and we're gonna wrap it up. So Greg says, how do we replace an existing video with an updated, better video? Can we use the same original optimized video title? Can we change the title of the first video and make it private and then reuse the original title for the new video? Thanks. Yeah, of course you can. If you've got a different video, you can target the same keywords. The thing that sucks about YouTube is you can't like replace the video. Like if you've got a ranked video, wouldn't it be nice to be able to go like update the video and it's still like position? It's not the case though, right? If you're going to update the video, it's going to be a new video URL. So you got to start all over from scratch as far as ranking it. So, you know, but obviously there's times when that's going to be necessary. And so what I recommend doing in that case is, yeah, target the same keyword. That's absolutely fine. Guys, you can target the same keyword over and over again in the same channel. The video just has to be different. And remember, you know, I'm talking about like, we just like change the encoding or the file length or the file type and that kind of stuff. And that makes it look unique. But I'm talking about like, if you had unique videos, like real, genuinely unique videos, you could still target the same keyword over and over and over again. It makes no difference. I would suggest doing if you want to replace the old video with a new one. So target the same keywords, start doing all the SEO stuff that you typically would. But if you want the old video to not be showing in the index anymore, just set it to unlisted. I think you can set it to private too. It won't matter. But what I usually just select unlisted. But then what I'll do is I'll take the new video that I want ranked and I'll put that as the first link in the description of the old video. I'll set it to unlisted, and that way and then also I'll also add the link section of the old video. I'll have link juice from that video, title, same topic, you know, basically all that pushing to the new video URL. By the way, set up a playlist and put both of those videos in a playlist too. And then link from the old video description to the playlist URL, as well as the old video comments section to the playlist URL, because then you're pushing power from the old video that's now set to unlisted or private, which means it won't be in the index anymore, but you're still funneling juice from that as well as to that the new video. Okay, Jay, turner's up, and then we're going to wrap it up, guys, because it's almost 5, and I've got my daughter who's been waiting patiently behind me. So thanks, Ava. Jay says, Claudia has picked up an exact match domain for her name that was dropped by a scammer who was trying to extort her and other business owners with nasty content spread on the net. Oh, what a prick. Back to the domain name from a blogspot post, so that's Blogger, and a live domain that presents itself like a ripoff report site with the offending article. Any problems with me putting client's bio on the domain profile links through Google shortened links and transmute those 2 inbound links into a net positive? Yeah, of course you can. I mean, those, you know, those 2, something else you could do, by the way, is if you've registered that domain is you can disavow that link from the offending article or whatever if you wanted. I mean, if there's SEO that link there, which there may be, I don't know, then you may want to leave it. But if you, I mean, because remember, you disavowing a link, by the way, guys, does not take it off the web. Google would just disregard it. So you really don't have a lot of choice there. Either contact, obviously somebody was being a prick to extort some money. They're not going to take the link down. So you can either put it in net positive. That's what we wondering. Do it that way. But that's up to you. Suggestions on that? What would you do?
Trying to think on the purpose of what he's trying to do here. Is this basically reputation management? Like, is that what he's concerned about, the client's name on, you know, the search term itself?
Yes, what I'm thinking is he wants to take the exact match client's name domain because rank, exact match and blah, blah, blah. basically like a short bio page that just links to their other social. And so basically pushing the link from the link juice from Blogspot and the ripoff report like site match domain to their social profiles. To be honest with you, I don't know other than just because that exact match domain might rank for that name, bother with that kind of a trouble.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
one the only thing that comes to my mind is maybe some kind of reputation management thing. If that's like the intended purpose behind it, then you're going to want to connect everything together.
Oh, I got something you could do though.
What's that?
I got something you could do. You could a one-page bio site anyways, but set it to no index. Canonical tag from that to your new site, whatever site it is that you're building for. You'll get the SEO benefit, but nobody will ever see it in any backlink report. So if anybody went to ever go like do a backlink analysis on the client's new domain, not this one, but the new domain, they'll still be getting the benefit, the SEO benefit from those 2 inbound links, but nobody would ever see it because it was a canonical as opposed to a physical link. Does that make sense? I mean, that's something I would do. And then at that case, you could set the canonical to the client's new domain instead of a social profile, if that makes sense. Anyways, that's just something you could do. Anybody else have a comment on that? Otherwise, we're going to wrap it up.
No, I was about to say that Wayne was saying that we should do 2 hours long Hangout, and we already do. It's called Mastermind, Wayne.
That's right.
You should. Oh, you're already there. But yeah, for everyone that needs 2 hour long webinars, we already do that on the Mastermind.
And real quick, Peter Jordan was asking about the Google stacks, and I linked Peter to it. But for anyone else wondering about this too, there's 2 links on the page, and it'll be in the show notes on YouTube if you're watching. But you definitely need to check out the semanticmastery.com/RankWyz stacks webinar. All right, that explains that, and then also at Serpspace, you can get these done for you. Okay, so please watch that, and that will explain a lot of that stuff.
Sweet. Well, thanks everybody for being here. We do have mastermind webinar tomorrow, guys. For those of you that are in mastermind, Ron's going to be on talking about schema stuff. It's going to be awesome. So make sure that you're there, and otherwise you'll catch the replay in the members area. All right. And thanks everybody for being here. We'll see some of you tomorrow.
Adios.
Bye-bye. Thanks, guys.
Bye.
Bye.